CPAC 2021, Republicans Gone Wild. Would anyone there admit Trump actually lost?
How are you feeling about Donald Trump losing the election?
I'm Tim. I was a Republican strategist my whole career. But then this racist asshole crashed my party. And most of my old friends went along with it. All the way off the deep end. So now I'm pissed, politically homeless, and unshackled from all the partisan BS. This is not my party. Brought to you by the Bulwark. So last weekend was CPAC. For those that don't know, it's the largest gathering of conservative activists in America. It's kind of like Comic-Con, but instead of dressing like furries, people wear tri-cornered hats. We used to call it the Star Wars bar of politics, and for years I'd go to network with right-wing weirdos and drink beers with college Republicans who acted like they were on spring break.
Spring break forever.
This year, CPAC moved from DC to Orlando, and while some things changed, it still had all the usual suspects. The dudes dressed up like Confederate soldiers, the nerdy college boys, the not so nerdy college girls, the awkward old guys with dandruffy suits, and the panoply of celebrity conservative headliners. And the main event, the first reemergence of the one-term loser, Donald J. Trump. But this year, there was an elephant in the room. Would anybody there be able to face the reality that Donald Trump actually lost a fair election? That it was his fault the Republicans lost control of Washington? Nope, instead they kept playing the hits. In their deranged fantasy world, all you had to do to get applause was make shit up about voter fraud. First there was Korean Ted Cruz.
On April 15th last year, I lost in the general election. Just like President Trump, my loss was due to election fraud.
They gave a standing ovation to this prepster-looking dude out of an 80s movie when he said he voted to overturn the election.
You know, on January the 6th, I objected during the Electoral College certification. Maybe you heard about it.
The nerdy writer who is trying to make these preposterous lies sound scholarly.
Mysterious late-night ballot dumps triggered huge lopsided vote spikes for Joe Biden. Multiple affidavits offered sworn eyewitness reports of cars with out-of-state license plates unloading piles of ballots at counting centers in the wee small hours.
And of course the ringleader himself, Donald Trump, pouring on lie
This election was rigged.
after lie
How the hell is it possible that we lost? It's not possible.
after lie.
We won the election twice.
How, after everything that we've been through, after the death of a cop, after the siege of the Capitol, are we still letting this shit go on? Trump even made a hate list, Arya Stark style, of Republicans who voted to impeach or convict. And the crowd responded with a rabid bloodlust. Makes sense that none of the targets showed up to get heckled, or worse.
If the party doesn't listen to the people, the party's gonna have a hard time.
Is that a threat?
In fact, the entire weekend, there was only one guy who had the balls to tell the truth about the election. A random lawyer guy I used to work with named Charlie Spees. And of course, he was promptly booed.
Boo! Boo!
If you were hoping more centrist or even reality-based conservative Republicans would push back on this nonsense,
that would be nice.
well, let me pour you a drink, because that was never happening, y'all.
Drink up!
The only actual dissent at CPAC came from literal white nationalists who ran a competing America First PAC event down the block. These groypers trolled the CPAC attendees over wearing masks.
What a bunch of morons!
So where does the rise of white identity politics and Trump worship on the right leave people who don't want to go along with that mob, but also aren't cool with the AOC-ified left? People like me, who are absolutely turned off by this and feel politically homeless?
Where do I belong?
That's what we'll be navigating the next few weeks, with Biden on the cusp of his first big piece of legislation, and a debate beginning to rage about whether former Republicans fit more in Biden's coalition, a new third party, or fighting the CPAC crazies from within.
Is this really necessary?
Yes, Mr. Trump.
We'll get into all that next time on Not My Party.